I have a question
Yep.
I'd like to ask you before we ever start.
Yep.
Are you a licensed professional civil engineer?
Yes, I am.
Thank you.
I guess hopefully everybody had a chance to take a look at the report over the weekend. I emailed it to Doug and he was going to forward it to everyone. I did look at all 4 sites. The cover letter kind of summarizes what I did in the summary of my recommendations. However, we'll go through the report somewhat in a little more detail. I did make some assumptions when I did the report. One of them was which was that you would approve the 25-mile-an-hour design speed. It was requested also with this deviation. It was something we had discussed at that meeting in September. It appeared to me that that would be something you were considering doing. So I went ahead and made that assumption when I made some of my recommendations. And then some of the others are just that, you know, the people driving are driving appropriate for the conditions, not speeding, swerving. If it's icy, you know, they're taking that into consideration. As far as accesses, that there will be a single driveway per lot and that there won't be shared driveways. That kind of gets into when I talk about guardrail here in a little bit. Obviously zoning will stay the same, so it'll be the same type of land use, same type of traffic counts that I looked at when I was doing this. And then maintenance will be upheld. And just one thing, this was more for your information, but when I did the cost estimates, I excluded any erosion control items because right now that is changing and different things can be done in conjunction with this, and that really wasn't something that I was reporting on the safety. It would be something that if we did some improvements, erosion control will be needed, but I didn't factor that into the cost that I provided you. So those are just a few things I wanted to point out at the outset.
Julia, I guess I might have one question I'd like to ask.
Yep.
Had you been called to go out there before the subdivision, was ever anything was done with it before we get the final approval? And realized that the roads did not meet standards, is this the same recommendation that you would give if you looked at it at that time?
If it, before anything was built, you probably...
No, I mean after.
Or even before it was approved.
The roads were in, everything
Okay.
as it is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Would these have been the same recommendations
They probably...
that you would have given?
Yeah, they would have been fairly close, just because I guess I feel what I tried to do with this report is look at all the options that were out there and then kind of balance the benefits to the costs. You know, you don't always want to pick the cheapest because that isn't always the best, and sometimes the most expensive isn't the best for what you're getting. And that's kind of what I tried to do and what I tried to explain throughout this report in the recommendation on each item was that, you know, you can do something such as realign the road that we'll talk about on one of the options. But there, you know, you're gaining some benefit, but do the benefits that you're gaining match up with the costs that are being incurred?
Thank you.
Yep.
I can speak from here because
We all have to speak in the podium because of the recording, please.
I'm being recorded on the system that we have, which is being picked up.
Point of order. All people have to come to the podium, Harlow.
I did never come to the podium when I sat in the back.
So, what does that have to do with today? I had to go to the podium.
Harlow, you make all of us come there.
You would, yeah.
The only comment I would have to the board is that JEO is our hired engineer to present information to the board dealing with this kind of situation. It's unfortunate that we're here after roads are constructed, and I agree that that's not the best situation. However, I do believe that the recommendations made by our engineer satisfy safety balance with the deviations that are requested, and it's certainly a board decision with regard to that. But I'm comfortable from our standpoint, and you know, the issue of legality on the county's been raised, and I just don't see that being something that's of supreme importance with regard to what's been suggested by our professional engineer and the deviations recommended. So I do think there's another thing that we can do, which is to put in a notice to the Register of Deeds that the roads, you know, whatever happens with this, if there's some kind of deviation made, that can be a notation so that any prospective buyer would have that understanding that the roads were constructed to a deviation, and if they've got questions about that, they can seek the appropriate people within the county.
Great comment.
When we talked